real cases before a real judge.
And now, enter the courtroom of Judge Mathis. Plaintiff Danielle Smith met the defendant at work, and they decided to rent an apartment together. Danielle claims after they moved in, she shockingly turned up pregnant, so they terminated their lease. She's suing for half of the lease termination fee and emotional distress. Defendant Renice Mickey says she had every intention of living in her apartment with Danielle for the duration of the lease. And she insists had Danielle not gotten pregnant, they never would have broken the lease.
All right. Also, I want to thank Keith for standing in as our bailiff today. Doyle had to take off, so we want to thank Keith for standing in for him. Thank you. All right. Tell me what's happening.
I'm not sure if you've ever been worked at a restaurant before, but normally what we do is we hang out after work, had a good time, party, clubbing, drinking, having a really good time. That's how I met Renice. We were co-workers, and one of our really good moments that we had, we'll normally go to IHOP. Being under the influence, we used to laugh and talk about everybody at IHOP and just have a really good time, laughing, joking, just talking about everybody.
They don't serve drinks at IHOP.
Not at IHOP. It'd be after. After. Yeah, after. You know, like after you get come back from the club.
Sure y'all not sneaking it in your purse?
No. Not at all. Not at all. But no, but one of the craziest moments and things I will never forget that me and Renice had was the time that Renice thought that she could have been pregnant, was having some pain. So I was like, Renice, let's go to Walmart. Let's get a pregnancy test. Came back, must have been like a bonus because it was like 2 in a pack, got 2 for 1 basically. So she takes the pregnancy test, and I'm joking around with her like, oh, Renice, it looks like your pregnancy test is positive. So she gets up and runs to go look at the pregnancy test like, no, it's not, it's negative, shut up. So I'm like, she's like, why are you talking? You need to go in the bathroom and take your pregnancy test.
And don't tell me yours was positive.
Oh, wait, let me get there. So I'm like, well, since I got to use the bathroom, so I'm like, since I got to pee anyway, might as well. So I go ahead and use the bathroom, take my pregnancy test. Mine ended up being positive. So I get all hysterical and freaking out. So I call my sister on the phone and I'm like, so can you please explain to me how accurate a pregnancy test is? She's like, it's a pregnancy test. Most of them are accurate, duh. So that pretty much led us to where we are, partially the reason why we're here today.
All right, we'll find out how that's connected in a minute. No, it's a lease termination fee. Maybe she put you out because you were pregnant. Go ahead.
Okay, I just want to start with saying I really don't remember taking a pregnancy test. I do remember feeling like my stomach, like I felt like the grudge was taking over me. And we did go to Walmart, but I don't remember taking a pregnancy test. But Danielle does find out she's pregnant. I don't know why she chose to just take one. I don't know. That's just a blur to me. I don't know.
Tell me about moving in together.
Again, yes, we met each other working and going out and having fun, and Danielle needed to move out. I wanted to move out. We both needed and wanted to move out. So we started looking for apartments, and before we knew it, we actually found a better deal to move in. We just
the two of you?
Yes, we probably did kind of rush it, but it was.
And you like to go to restaurants after work and party and drink?
No, no.
Then you're taking pregnancy tests every time you leave the club.
Right. My stomach's hurting. She has no idea she's pregnant, but she takes one for a random reason and finds out she's pregnant.
How was it living together?
It was good. We actually paid our rent. We were hard workers. That's another reason why we chose to move in together. It wasn't just that we had fun talking about people at IHOP. We did work very hard, and she works hard, I work hard, so we moved in. Unfortunately, Danielle found out she was pregnant. We moved in, we lived there about 2.5 months, and then when she found out she was pregnant.
And you all decided to leave because of your pregnancy?
Because I was
Needed help
on
with
bed
your pregnancy?
rest. Yes, I was on bed. I got put on bed rest, and I was
And you all had been splitting the rent half and half?
Yes.
So what did you all determine that you would do? I see you're suing for the termination fee. Did you all say that, okay, we're going to terminate it and pay the fee 50-50? Why are you suing? What happened?
Yeah, that was the agreement, but once again, I was on bed rest, so at the time I didn't have any money, no income, no form of anything, so we were going to just wait until after I was back on my feet, and we were going to just pay everything. So additionally, when I got back up on my feet after having my baby, started back working, I went to the apartment complex and talked to the apartment manager and asked her for the forms that we needed to pay, what was everything that we needed to pay so we could get it situated and we could pay it because I didn't want it on my credit.
Okay, and what happened?
So
Why are you suing her?
Because we ended up getting into it over text messages.
All right, so tell me how she owes you the money.
But
she didn't pay her
our lease,
share or what? What happened?
It was 50. It was we had to pay $1,565
altogether.
So we had to pay all together, and we was going to split that half and half. So I talked to one of the collection agency guys, and he told me that we needed to pay $1,000 up front in order for them not to put a text.
How did it get to a collection agency that
They
soon?
had already sent it to collection because they had sent a letter, like October of 2010. At the time, I was still pregnant, still on bed rest, and I knew nothing about the letter.
Okay.
But when I went to the building and talked to the apartment manager, she gave me everything.
So did you pay anything yet?
I paid the full amount.
Okay, and so
everything.
you want half from her?
Yes.
That's more than half.
And then I was suing for an additional emotional distress because
For what?
Because I was really I didn't have an extra $783 just to come out of my pocket and pay.
So you're saying emotional distress because you had financial problems because your roommate didn't come through with her half. That's why
what
you're
I'm
suing
saying.
for emotional distress. Let me hear from you.
I don't feel I owe all that amount. I don't feel I owe nearly majority. I mean, it's distressed upon her because she didn't have the extra $780. Neither did I. I needed her personally for a year to live with me is when I needed because we moved in, but we broke our lease because she was pregnant, which I know you can't. Things come up, but it's also that was a big distress. That was something on me as well. Like she said, she got on bed rest. She got to kind of not relax, but she kind of did.
And you like to go to restaurants after work and party and drink?
No, no.
Then you're taking pregnancy tests every time you leave the club.
Right.
Plaintiff Danielle Smith met the defendant at work, and she claims they often went out clubbing together.
You're bothered that you had to pay $783, or she wants you to pay $783 because of the termination, which is a result of her getting pregnant. In other words, it's her fault.
Because I still wanted to live there, and I don't feel like, even when I moved out and she got to go on bed rest, I still had to work. I even left that job because now we have to relocate.
Is this the first time you all discussed it? You all haven't talked about it?
No, because when I told her I was on bed rest, because she knew I was going, I went into the hospital, or we were still living together, I went into the hospital. And that's when they determined that I was on bed rest. I told her that eventually we're going to have to break the lease because my physician told me, she said that, well, I can't really afford to live here by myself. I don't want a replacement roommate.
She does not want
She
one?
does not want
Why?
a replacement roommate because she said she would prefer to just break the lease.
Okay.
And it'd be much cheaper for her to go stay back with her
Why didn't you get a
dad.
replacement roommate?
I didn't say I didn't prefer.
I'll say, why didn't you then?
I couldn't, even when we moved
Why
in.
couldn't you?
How do you just find anyone that quick to move in?
Same way thousands of other people do.
No, I mean, you gotta
No
be
what?
kind of, I would rather have more time, or I rarely, even on the basis of me and Danielle moving in, unfortunately, we didn't even know each other that well. I don't even live from around here. I don't know any, it's not like I had any cool high school friends or
You're
college
gonna learn
friends.
a good lesson because that's the way it goes when you join in with someone. There's no guarantee that they're going to be able to remain on that lease for a year. And the law is that if one of your roommates breaches their contract, then you must get a replacement roommate. That's the law.
Well, I figured also, isn't it like the person that's moving out, isn't it their responsibility to find, like, if she gets pregnant, she has to move out. Now I have to not only worry about my half rent or if I'm even going to live there, period. And meantime, I'm the one that's supposed to be looking for someone to move in with me when we were going to move in together by ourselves.
Those are all the consequences you risk when you move in with someone.
Yes.
When you depend on others,
Yeah.
or when you have to trust in others to maintain their part of the deal. And you trusted in her. She was unable to because of extenuating circumstances, her pregnancy, even though, there perhaps could have been some alternative ways of dealing with it, you would have been required to get a roommate. But that's not what you all decided to do. You decided to terminate the lease. So the question is, why don't you think you should pay your half? Did she ever tell you she couldn't pay her half of the termination fee?
I knew that she was having difficulties
Okay, so
paying
you
it.
all never discussed the termination fee, ma'am.
Like we did. We
And
talked
what
about
did you
it.
all conclude?
I paid the $1,000, and I told her to pay the $565.
Okay.
And when she got a chance to pay the remaining balance piece by piece in like bits and pieces.
Was this the agreement?
Yes, she did pay $1,000, and I got in a car accident and totaled my car and everything, and I told her that over text messages, and that goes into us texting, and she kind of got hot-headed with me because she wanted it up front. I'm not going to lie about totaling a car and what I'm going to do with another.
So what's your defense to not keeping the agreement you just admitted you made with her?
My defense is that she didn't allow us to get to that extent, and that's why we're here today.
She didn't allow you what?
She didn't even allow me to pay her. As crazy as it
she's
seems.
here. You can pay her today.
Okay.
That's your only defense. All right. 783 is your judgment. Can't grant you the emotional distress, because when people get left with bills, that's what happens all the time. The same lecture I gave her, when you trust people with your finances or with your situation and they cross you, then you have to pay the consequences. It's 783 because that's half of the amount. You said the only reason you can't pay her is because you couldn't find her. Now she's here. Meet her in the back and pay her $783. Have a good day.
Well, I feel like we still can remain friends,
Yeah.
and let this put it behind us.
Same thing. I don't want this to go bad. We lived together. It was fine. We lived together. We still have a friendship, and I really want it to stay that way.